Alright guys, I am here to give you my TNA review for February 27th, 2015. I haven't watched the show yet. I still haven't watched the show yet. I'm going to watch it now. And I'm watching it off this new wrestling website. It's called, actually, what is it called? WatchWrestling.channel. I'm going to put it in the description box so you guys can check it out. And there's parts to this video, like there's parts of each thing. So when part 1's over, I'll give you my thoughts on part 1, and when part 2's over, I'll give you my thoughts on part 2. It's all the same video, but they have it set in 2 parts. So when part 1's over of TNA, I'll give you my thoughts on that, and when part 2's over of TNA, I'll give you my thoughts on that. So let's see how this show is. The reason why I didn't do it yesterday is because my mother and sister were watching a movie where I could watch TNA in the which is the TV room. We call it the TV room here. And then my mom slept in that room, so I couldn't watch it. And then I have been busy today doing homework. I got a new laptop. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but I did. If you've seen my post on Facebook, you know all about that. I also, my grandfather's sleeping in there right now, so I can't watch it on the DVR in there. So I'm just gonna watch it on that website, see if it's good, see if it's bad. But yeah, let's see how this goes with TNA this week. Alright, so now I've watched part 1 of the video, so I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it so far. So we get Taz and Josh Matthews on commentary for this show, and Kurt Angle comes out to cut a promo, and he talks about how and he calls out Lashley, and Lashley comes out. Kurt Angle talks about how he was being beat down by the BDC, which stands for Beatdown Clan, and that group consists of Samoa Joe, Loki, Kenny King, and MVP. And he says he was being beat down by them though, and Lashley just stood there and didn't do anything about it. And Lashley does say that he does respect him and all that. And Lashley said that it was your fight, not mine. And then Kurt Angle says that, but yeah, this says yeah, but now you have to deal with now you have to defend the title tonight against MVP instead of against me. But it's not just going to be against MVP. It's going to be against MVP and the BDC. And Lashley said, that's fine. I don't need your help. This is my fight. Because he thought he was offering his help. But I'm going to answer that Facebook thing in a second. And then Kurt Angle says he's not offering his help. He says he's going to do the same thing that Lashley did. He's going to watch Lashley get destroyed out there. And then he leaves, and then the BDC come out, and Samoa Joe say that Lashley is going to get beat down by MVP, and MVP is going to be standing tall. And it will be the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And Lashley says, and the crowd's chanting that you sold out to Samoa Joe, and Lashley says, you sold out. And Samoa Joe said that you owe everything to the BDC because we were the reason that you're the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and we did everything for you. And tonight, the MVP of the BDC, that sounds so wrong if one of the guys in the group wasn't named MVP. Is facing you for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And MVP says that they've proven that they can control where the TNA World Heavyweight Championship goes, and tonight it's going to go around the waist of MVP. And that was it. I thought it was a decent promo, and the BDC has new theme music. I think it's okay. It's not my favorite music. And then we get the first match on the show is Tyrus and Ethan Carter III, EC3 for short, versus Mr. Anderson and Rockstar Spud. Mr. Anderson does his microphone bit, and he's saying the usual stuff, and Rockstar Spud says, and Rockstar Spud. And that was awesome. And the crowd was pro Rockstar Spud because TNA was in Manchester, England. It was an okay match. The heels dominate Rockstar Spud for a while, and then Mr. Anderson gets the hot tag on Tyrus, and then he gets dominated for a while. Spud gets the hot tag, starts going off on Tyrus, but then Tyrus takes him down, and EC3 is distracting the ref, and behind the referee's back, Mr. Anderson low blows Tyrus, hits the mic check on him, and Rockstar Spud gets the pin for the win. And then they have EC3 where they want him. They're gonna probably shave his head because they were like cornering him, but Tyrus pulls him out of the ring before any shaving can be done. And then they showed like the build-up feud about how it came to be between Lashley and MVP, and I like that they showed this because I'm looking forward to this match because it has an awesome story to it. Well, not an awesome one, but a decent story to it, and it shows when Lashley, MVP, and Kenny King came together and formed an alliance, and then it shows when Lashley won the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And then EC3's backstage, and he said that they gained up on him, and he said that they're going to try to take his hair, but they're not going to get any of it, and he said that tonight he's going to shave Spud's hair. I thought that was a fine segment. And then Taryn Terrell comes out and says that she respects all the knockouts in the back, and she's happy to defend the Knockouts Championship any day of the week, and she calls out Awesome Khan since she laid her out last week. And then Gail Kim comes out and says, you don't want to do this. Awesome Khan's the most dominant knockout in professional wrestling. And she said that you thought Havoc was tough. Awesome Khan's work. She threw her around like Khan threw her around like she was nothing. And then Taryn Terrell says that she's a fighter, she's a champion, and she wants this and needs this. And then they hug, and Gail Kim leaves, and then Taryn Terrell's music hits, and I was like, that's it? You could have just done this backstage. But no, Awesome Khan comes out. Taryn Terrell tries to beat her up. She hits a drop kick off the top onto her, but she's never able to knock her down. And Awesome Khan lays her out with a finisher again and holds up the title and leaves. I thought it was actually a pretty good stuff. I at first was thinking this is not going anywhere, but then Awesome Khan definitely made it better. And then they show another Lashley and MVP bit, a part of the feud, and it shows when the BDC formed and helped Lashley win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship the second time, and then when they turned on him. I thought it was decent stuff. And then Austin Aries gets interviewed, and the guy's gonna go ask him a question, and Aries like, are you gonna ask another stupid question again? But but the guy asked him if he's looking into tonight's main event, and Aries says yes. I'm pretty much implying, he pretty much implies that he's gonna cash in the briefcase contract tonight. And then we get Angelina Love and Robbie E with Jesse Goddard and DJZ. DJZ was just wearing like this crazy, like not Avenger, what's it called? The Power Ranger like mask on him and headphones like these, except they were like blue. And I just thought it was really weird. But they faced Brooke Tessmarker and Chris Melendez. No, I don't know if this was a mixed tag team match or if it was a intergender, because they really weren't too clear about that. But before Tessmarker and Melendez come out, they do have the triple selfie sticks. They all do. And then mainly the knockouts just wrestle all the match. And this is like a feud between Robbie E and Brooke Tessmarker. But then eventually Robbie E pushes Brooke Tessmarker off the top rope, covers her, gets the win, and he acts like it was the greatest thing ever. And then they take a Ussie with the selfie stick. I hate the selfie stick. Like I said, it's just one of those inventions I don't like. So then EC3's backstage, and he goes up to Rockstar Spud's locker room, and he's about to shave his head. And then Mr. Anderson runs in, and he's before EC3 can shave Spud's head. Anderson decks him in the face, and he says, "You don't know how to learn, do you?" And then they take off a small piece of his hair, and then Tyrus comes out and they just walk out. I thought this was kind of an awkward segment. I wasn't really a huge fan of it. But TNA so far, just before I watch part 2, part 1, you have the Angle promo, which I liked. The tag match was decent. I liked the video packages with the MVP Lashley feud. EC3 backstage segment was decent. I liked the Tarantula Awesome Con stuff. So right now, I just kind of and the Aries interview was good, but I did not like that tag. I'm not gonna lie, I did not like that tag match with Melendez and Brooke versus Love and Robbie E. And the stuff with EC3 trying to shave Spud's hair tonight didn't work for me. So far, I'm just have to say that so far TNA is just an average show right now. I hope that it picks up in part 2 though. Part 1 was average though. Alright, so I just got done watching the show. It's actually 12:27 right now, so it's actually now Sunday. What a coincidence. So let me finish reviewing the show. Alright, so Gunner's backstage, and he's trying to talk some sense into Kurt Angle, asking him why he's not going to help Lashley. Kurt Angle says he doesn't want help anyways. But then Gunner says MVP is in the match. Do you really want to have MVP get the TNA World Heavyweight title, have control over the company? And Gunner says if that's the case, and he also says that he misses the old Kurt Angle that he used to watch as a kid on TV. And then he says, if that doesn't get through to you, then maybe this will. And then he slaps him in the face because Gunner did the same. Well, Kurt Angle did the same thing to Gunner a few weeks ago. And then Kurt Angle gets pissed. But I really liked this segment. It was awesome. So then Austin Aries comes out to cut a promo. He talks about how no matter what happens in this main event, he doesn't really need to earn a title shot because he has a title shot in his hands. And he said that he could cash in the briefcase tonight. And then Samoa Joe comes out, says you might not be cashing in anything if we have something to do about it. Because in the snap of my fingers, I can just snap my fingers, and the rest of the members of the BDC will come out and destroy you. And then Austin Aries says, what happened to the old Samoa Joe? Somebody that would come and wrestle, have a 30-minute match with me, and wrestle a perfect match, and just wrestled and killed everybody and just did what he wanted to do. Now you're just MVP's lackey. You go beat up, you do whatever he says, and then you rub his feet afterwards. I liked it. And Samoa Joe says that the fans don't know anything about loyalty, and he says he's not going to snap his fingers. He's going to snap Austin Aries' neck right now. And then Austin Aries says that you don't have to come to me. I'll come to you. So then he dives on Joe and starts beating him up, and then it turns into a match, Aries versus Joe. It was actually a great match. The crowd definitely helped this match. They were really behind Austin Aries, and they was chanting "You sold out" at Joe. Aries hits a springboard splash off the top, and then he hits an elbow drop on him. He just pretty much kicks Joe's ass throughout the first half of the match. He tries to go for a brain buster. Joe counters and hits a first suplex, and he goes rib first into the ropes, and then Samoa Joe drop kicks him. And then he just pretty much dominates the rest of the match. Joe gets him in a bear hug, and then Aries escapes, and then he pulls down the top rope when Joe goes to charge at him, hits a flying forearm off the top, and then he hits a drop kick in the corner, and he goes for the brainbuster, but Joe counters into a full Nelson, and then Aries counters into a small package. Joe kicks out, and then Aries gets him in the last chancery, and then Kenny King comes out, holds Aries' world title briefcase, and this distracts Aries long enough. Joe gets him with the choke, but Aries charges at Ken, and Joe goes face first into the case. Aries hits two forearms and a 450 splash for the win. So I thought it was a great match, and I'm pretty happy Austin Aries won. I'm not gonna complain about that. And then Kenny Ken and Loki attacked Aries afterwards. When Joe gets up, when he recovers, he attacks him too. He gets the choke on him, and then they go get a table. Loki does the double stomp, and on the Aries, Aries is supposed to go through the table, but the table doesn't break, so that was a big botch right there. And then Joe just does a senton through the table right afterwards, and you can tell that it was a botch because when they would replay that, Loki, they never showed Loki's double stomp again. And then when Joe did that, Loki had to like get out of the ring. But I like that Joe improvised there, and was able to think of something quick. So that was good. So then Lashley gets interviewed, and I don't really remember much what he said, not gonna lie. I just really don't. I can't really tell you off the top of my head. I think he says that he's gonna beat MVP tonight, pretty much, and all of that. And then MVP and Eric Young are backstage, and MVP likes what Eric Young did to Bobby Roode, pile driving him, and he said that he was sick and tired of living under Roode's shadow for 15 years. And MVP says, if there's anything we can do to make it up to you need. Eric Young says, if there's anything I can do to make it up to you, let me know. So pretty much Eric Young has manipulated him to interfere. MVP is manipulating Eric Young to interfere in the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match. Something that was weird though, about this backstage segment is MVP said that the title match was no disqualification, or no DQ for short. But then when the match started, it really wasn't. That really wasn't the case. So I don't really know why he said that. But I thought this was a fine segment. So then the BDC's backstage again, and MVP's like just says, "Look, I have a title to win." That was really nothing to that. And then we got Noam. I think that's how you say his name. Dahl versus Rampage Brown. The match does. These are two guys that were from British Boot Camp, the TV show. The match doesn't really get started though. Brown comes out and takes out both of them. Hits the Rampage DDT move, which is pretty much Page's finisher. And then he calls out Magnus. He wants Magnus to come out, but he knows Magnus isn't there, so he's just taunting him. So instead, Grado comes out, and he tries to go off on Bram. Bram takes him out and hits his finisher on him again, and calls out Magnus again, but he knows Magnus isn't going to show, so he just leaves. I thought this was fine. I'm glad Bram stood tall. I was worried that he was going to have like a face-off with Grado, then just leave, but I'm glad Bram took out Grado too. And I'm liking the way that they're making Bram look strong. I don't really think he's that great on the mic, but I think he's been doing a good job with this feud. And I can't wait to see Magnus come back, because then the feud will really intensify once Magnus comes back. So I think that's going to be awesome. Alright. So then we get Lashley defending the TNA World Heavyweight Championship against MVP with Kenny Ken, Loki, and Samoa Joe. And I did write that this was a no disqualification match, but it really isn't. That really isn't the case, so forget that I said that. This was a decent match. Lashley kicks MVP's ass throughout much of this match, throughout the beginning of the match, and then they fight on the outside. Loki takes a cheap shot at Lashley, but the referee sees it, so he kicks Loki out of the match, and then MVP big boots Lashley on the outside, and then the rest of the match pretty much MVP dominating Lashley, and then Samoa Joe or Kenny Ken would interfere in the match, and then MVP drops Lashley chest first into the guardrail, which I thought was cool. They both hit a double clothesline on each other. Lashley starts doing his comeback, and Lashley goes to spear MVP, but Kenny Ken holds his leg, and then MVP hits an exploder suplex and the ball and elbow move, but Lashley kicks out. Lashley does hit the spear on MVP, but MVP bumps into the ref, so the ref can't make the count. So then Eric Young runs out, hits Lashley with the chair, just like he did to Rude in Lashley versus Rude 3. And then he's gonna power drive Eric Lashley right on that chair. But then Bobby Roode comes up, they fight to the back. It was cool to see Roode. I wasn't expecting to see him on the show. So then what happens next? Samoa Joe, Lashley's going off on MVP. He hits a power slam on him. He goes for the cover. The referee, before the referee can count 3, Kenny King pulls the ref out, and then Samoa Joe attacks Lashley. But Gunner runs out and fights with Samoa Joe to the back, and then Kenny King goes off the top, but Lashley catches him and throws him outside the ring. And then MVP hits the Playmaker. It was kind of cool to see him do that again because I haven't seen him do that move in a while on Lashley. Another referee runs out, but so Lashley ends up kicking out because he had so much time to kick out. And then the weird thing is the referee went to check on the referee that was down. That was like so weird. But then MVP tries to grab a chair, and then Drew Galloway runs out, hits a running knee on MVP. And then Lashley hits a spear on MVP for the win and retains the title. And that was the end of the show. I thought this match was actually pretty good. And you knew Lashley was gonna win. I didn't really know who was gonna win this match. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it could be MVP. I thought it could be Lashley. I really didn't know what direction it was gonna go in. And I actually did think that Kurt Angle was gonna come out during this match because they were building it up backstage with Gunner and all that, but no, he didn't come out. I was surprised. And I like that he didn't come out. Because normally when wrestlers... I was expecting Kurt Angle to interfere anyways, but I like that he didn't. They went the unpredictable route, and they're teasing a feud between Lashley and Angle. And I think eventually down the line, we're going to get Lashley versus Angle for the title, which would be something awesome because we've never seen that match before because Angle was... because of obvious reasons. So I like the fact that we're going to see that match. Overall, part 2 of this was actually pretty good as well. You had the stuff with Austin Aries and Joe, because I really did not know who was going to win that match. It was back and forth. I liked it, and I liked the promo afterwards. What else did we get that was good? The Gunner Kurt Angle segment was pretty good. I like the way they utilized Bram on the show. What else was good? MVP trying to end the title match was good. So overall, pretty good. And as for the show itself, I thought it was a decent show. I thought it was actually a pretty good show. You had a good tag match with Anderson and Spud versus Tyrus and EC3. The Angle promo was good. Austin Aries and Samoa Joe were good all night when they were there. And the title match was good, the match itself. So everything, I thought this was actually a pretty good show this week. Well, not last week, since it's Sunday now, of TNA. So that's pretty much it, guys. Leave your thoughts on the show in the description box, in the comments. And then you can click right here to subscribe. I'm going to bed now after I edit this, and then I'm going to go to bed and then get some other stuff up for you this week. That's pretty much it, guys, though. See you later.